So I was running StoryToys for the last 8 years, and I had an opportunity to acquire the game assets from Amplify Education when they were exiting News Corp, and also simultaneously but unrelated, the opportunity to acquire the portfolio of amazing iPad and apps that TouchPress had developed. So, you know, we have a license or a portfolio of content that has everything from World of Eric Carl, Mythy, DC Superheroes, right through to original games like 12 Dozen, World of Lexica, and then what we call serious reference content such as the elements and molecules. The way we organize ourselves is we still publish under the StoryToys brand, pre-kindergarten to 4th grade. They're educational games, readers, videos. TouchPress Games is our middle school portfolio, which is the former Amplify library, so it's English language arts and STEM. And then TouchPress Media is general media. And I would call them kind of documentary apps almost. Would you agree, Warren? They're quite meaty and they're of interest to all. Some of the apps which we have, it's a lot to manage. We have, I think, about 120 different SKUs on the App Store now, and 700 odd monetizable items. So, so that's who TouchPress is, and we're probably best known for the work that we've done with Eric Carl. Now, Warren, I'm not sure. I've got some slides. I don't think I've presented these ones before, so I just want to go talk about the background and the history of us getting the Eric Carl license. So we were known for creating interactive pop-up books. And we did very well from them for a number of years. We have an engine, we still actually sell plenty of them. We have an engine that enabled us to create these kind of experiences very, very quickly. And of course, there's a lot of public domain IP out there. We were in this quite early. So this was, I think, 2012. This is what the App Store looked like when you searched for Rapunzel. And then just 2 years later, this is what the App Store looked like when you searched for Rapunzel. So the same problems of discoverability, they were actually even more difficult back then, because at least there's some filtering on them now. So we realized that the great thing about public domain IP is that people know the brands. The worst thing about it is that it's in the public domain. So we had to really get out of the public domain space and focus on original content. We did some apps like Farm 123 and the Touch Love Listen series, but we decided to ask ourselves a question: should we license in or develop original IP? Would we go literary, cinema, or television? Would it be contemporary or heritage? And we had to look at the sort of risk that we would have to do. So things like, for example, cinema was out of the question. Anybody, I was at GDC over the last few days, and all the movie companies were there, and this is going to make a great app for kids, All these films, don't ever do it. Don't go near film IP, it just doesn't work. All you're doing is paying to promote the movie of the studio, and you will never make a return on it. And with the examples of this is a graph from, it's an old graph, this deck is from, these slides from 2015, cinematic IP, interest over time. So this was Shrek 2 theatrical release, Shrek 2 DVD, Shrek 3 theatrical, Shrek 3 DVD, Shrek final. Just people lose interest in it, even if it is a sort of multi or episodic cinematic IP. And that's obviously for Google Trends. Google Trends is your best friend if you're looking to license content, because you can drill down through market, you can look at interest over time. It really, I would suggest that you use it if you're looking at licensing. This is a TV IP, launched in 2009, and it's Chuggington. Now, we did actually license Chuggington. I think this is our, let's see here. Yeah, this was regional, and then it had, this I think was UK, and then the rest of the world, or the other way around. So we licensed that, we did very, very well with it. So, very big in Poland, huge in Japan, and so again, that was a pretty successful license for us. This then was the Very Hungry Caterpillar, and this was an app like Emmett and myself had grown up with, published in 1969, and so 50th anniversary next year. And I had the first conversation with them actually before we came back to this. And 2011. And there just wasn't an interest. They had an app partner at the time. And you can see it because it was all-time best book for toddlers, best bedtime story. Google had featured it heavily. I think this was on the 40th anniversary. It got the Google Doodle. And this is the list of the all-time greats as voted for by US school teachers. So in early 2013, I spoke at, we saw the app came out, and I spoke at Casual Connect, which is a games conference. And who's had the experience of the Very Hungry Caterpillar? People know the book? A couple of people know the book. Okay, let's have a look at that. Sorry, I'm back into landscape mode now, so we won't have any more problems. This app is a disgrace.
Do you remember?
When you think about the Very Hungry Caterpillar, firstly, it's a book that is designed for 2-year-olds. It is designed teaches very, very simple principles. I could have built this in PowerPoint. First thing that a child does, the 2-year-old, they can't read. Tap on the apple. What happens? Tap on the apple again. Nothing happens. Tap on the apple. So the parent comes along and says, okay, you've got to start with level 1.
Please eat the lemon.
Please eat the lemon. So the Very Hungry Caterpillar, it is about munching fruit.
1.
No munch that. You can only touch it once. You're not eating the lemon. This is an example of a very poorly designed app for a child that will have no engagement, that actually is damaging to the brand. So I can skip that. So long story short, the phone rang a couple of weeks later after the video went live, and it was the Eric Carl folks saying, we're reviewing our licensing arrangements. And here we are, we're 7 apps on in the Hungry Caterpillar library, and it's been a really interesting experience working with them over the years and building that trust. So from the very early days, we were only able to use the 2-dimensional Hungry Caterpillar, the classic Caterpillar. And it took a long time for us to get them to be interested in more creative content, like yes.
I'm sorry, did you really trash talk the old app, and in a few days later you were called?
But it was about 2 months. About 2 months later.
And then they
we got a call. Yeah.
Wow, because of your criticism.
And they never quite acknowledged whether it was yes or no. They were well aware of the criticism. I have discussed it with them. So there you go. If you want a license, trash talk an app. Don't trash talk our book.
And you're right.
Yeah. So we have so we have 7 apps live on the various app stores. We have a few regional variations. For example, the Very Hungry Caterpillar in Japan is not the same app that you buy in international markets. We also have where's my picture? We also have a version on Docomo's DKids platform, which is a subscription-only HTML5 version, but this is the core library for us. And it has been great for us over the years. This is our performance. It's consistent. It doesn't have that kind of long tail type view. I'll move on the slide before anybody can jot down any numbers. And it's also been great across multiple platforms. So this is it by store. This is the portfolio by store. So we run about 25 to 30% Google Play, about 8 to 10% on Amazon, and then the rest is iOS. And that's pretty much indicative of the entire portfolio of all of our applications that are on all 3 stores. The only thing that I'd say is Amazon performs much better if you've got content that has multiple touch points. So if there's a book and a toy, Amazon are great cross-marketers, so they'll then promote the app to their audience. So we've been pretty happy with it. And this is just 2017. So other facts on the Caterpillar: 1.3 billion pieces of fruit eaten in the application so far. 4.6 million users, and 12 million butterflies created. So we love these vanity metrics that ultimately are meaningless other than the fact that we like the kids are playing the app. It has won several awards, and in fact this is across the portfolio. But last year we started working with ARKit, and I guess it's one of the things I want to talk about, because I think our entire team were all AR skeptics. Just didn't think it would do anything for kids' applications. And our experience with using ARKit has completely turned that around. We're all in on AR now. We've seen the level of engagement is really very, very high with AR apps. seen the level of wonder. When we started testing the Hungry Caterpillar AR, you'd see it, the child would be, they'd have their device, and the caterpillar would show up, and the next thing you see the child looking behind the device for the caterpillar. So just the wonder that AR creates is fantastic. So I've got a short video of that, I think, here. It's with Eric in it as well.
What I do with children is part entertainment, part teaching them a little bit, part letting them into my world.
Millions of children all over the world love caring for their very own, very hungry caterpillars. And now he's out in the wild with my very hungry caterpillar augmented reality experience. Feed him tasty fruits, play with him together, watch him grow, explore your world. And there's lots of surprises to discover. When he's tired, let him get some rest. When he spreads his for you and your very own, very hungry caterpillar.
So that's the AR Caterpillar app, and we got really, really good support. I think people love the fact that there were so many demos of zombie applications, furniture builders, that it just, the classic IP brought into the new world through AR was something that really captured the imagination. We even got onto Ellen. It was about 3 seconds of Ellen, but we got onto Ellen. And here, this is, let me just, this video, yeah, this video is running. Okay, great. So this is an Apple campaign. It's on their site. They did a large AR feature. So it's really gotten all of the exposure that we could possibly want. And of course, Eric himself, this is when he first saw the application, just his expression is priceless. When he saw the caterpillar literally jump out of the egg on the table in front of him. So, and then, again, we've got more featuring. So this is animated. So Apple went to the studio, shot Eric painting, photographed him using the applications, captured video of him talking about it, wrote this wonderful article, and it pops up all the time in the App Store. How many of you have published how many of you have been publishing on the App Store, the Apple App Store specifically, for more than 3 years? So you probably noticed significant changes in how Apple interact with you in the last 12 months. Just the ability to actually talk to them and talk to the editorial team and talk about doing articles like this. And all the links are there available for publishers to say, okay, we've got an idea for a story. You can pitch a story to them at any time. So it's great to see that shift. And I think that Apple really have listened to the development community. I think one of the problems we have, I'll talk about in a little while, is more at the consumer end. But, so moving on, so this is the performance for us. And so this was the AR Kit launch. There's a couple of feature spikes. And everything, any time we actually generated any revenues was down to a feature. It didn't generate revenues from any of that great press that we got. It was all down to what are people clicking on the Today page on the App Store. So I've shown graphs like this at many Industrial Magics over the years. Keep dropping out of videos. Bye. Let me just, okay, we're back. So, so that's it. So we're kind of turning our hair out, thinking, can we not make paid apps work? It's difficult. So you can see this is the AR performance over time. And just so you know, it's not been an unprofitable experience for us. It's certainly generated a 6-figure number in terms of sales. But the amount of effort that goes into each individual update relative to performance, we've seen this right across our portfolio. It's disheartening. I don't know if you've seen the latest version of the Caterpillar with the painting in it, so you can paint around a room. And again, just a little bit of a spike. So we've kind of been turning our hair out for the last while trying to deal with this. And this is other launches that we've done. I think these are not all over the last year. I think this is probably Miffy. I'm not sure what this one is. It obviously got a refeature. I should have retitled them. And they all look the same. A long and narrow tail of the paid app business. This is another 2017 launch, and this is the launch that really calls us to think, okay, we need to change our business, because this one, again, you can see similar sort of pattern. It's like great launch, and then a few spikes, and it's on feature at the moment, I think, which is why it's out there. But this is the revenue pattern on this application. So the last slide was the downloads, and this is the daily, just the daily revenue numbers. You can see we've gone from a spike at the launch to consistent growth on the revenues. And that's basically our first subscription application, which is Mother Goose Club. And it's just caused us to completely change everything that we're doing. So Mother Goose Club, we've learned that subscription models in general is that the launch is really, I know you might feel like you're at the end where you click publish on the App Store. The launch is really just the beginning with a subscription service. You have to design, have the ability to adjust your KPIs to affect changes in the application while it's live without doing any updates to the app. You have to develop in-house what's known as a live ops function, i.e. a function where people are actually just monitoring this data on a daily or hourly basis and changing things in the application in response. You have to think about lifetime product management and lifetime customer management, and you have to test everything. So optimizations like icons, text, upsells, paywalls, pricing, everything needs to change. And then you need to update the app with new content very, very frequently, weekly ideally, possibly daily, or surface new content daily in order to make that work. I've got another slide here. So this is the kind of our KPIs over time. This is our planned customer lifetime value, the churn rate, which is how many people are actually deleting the app on a monthly basis. We have the ability to change these in real time. And sometimes we change them for the bad, and sometimes we change them for the better, and improve our conversion over time and improve our engagement over time. We're in this application now, Mother Goose Club. The average subscribed user spends 75 minutes a day in the app, which is a lot. Now, it is a video on demand app, so it's being used instead of YouTube. It's being used instead of YouTube Kids. But we had to work hard to get it to that, and we've had to work hard to get it to a place that we would be able to just increase our revenues over time. Excuse me. I'm slightly jet lagged, therefore somewhat incoherent. But as I said, we have to work very, very hard with multiple tests on an ongoing basis. And so this was the download slide I showed earlier, Mother Goose Club from launch. These are the little featuring spikes. But then these are when we actually start acquiring users through mobile advertising networks and across many of them. So Google AdWords, we found Apple's paid search is probably one of the most effective ways to get high quality users. This is an update about that feature. So we are, as a company, we've been very happy making beautiful applications, but as a company, we have not had a single profitable year. And we have been heavily venture financed over that time. We have to move towards a position where we can deliver a return for our investors. And making beautiful paid applications is not the way that we'll do that. So really, we're cutting back a lot of what we're doing. And what I want to do is show you what we're doing next.
Sorry, I'm always another question. You say you have that probably.
Sorry, 1 second.
Are you 100 people or 2 people in the studio? Or
We're 55 people.
55.
Yeah. So this is what's coming next, and I'm not sure if anybody's seen these yet. But
Your little caterpillar is hungry, with an insatiable appetite to learn every single day. Help your child get ahead with internationally recognized early learning goals. Learn all about numbers, counting, and math.
A, B, C, D, E, F.
Learn all about the alphabet and the building blocks kids need to start reading.
A is for apple. B is for bear.
We didn't plan that.
Foster a love of reading.
Wild about animals. A mob of flamingos, elephants, crocodiles.
Child to learn about nature and the world around them.
Rain.
Packed with hidden surprises and infinite. Encounter a universe of Eric Carle characters. Introduce your child to geometry, shapes, puzzles. Develop their critical thinking, solve problems. Grow their confidence through creativity. Watch them transform and
I think that's the end anyway.
It's allergic to advertising.
So that is our next application, and so it's a full comprehensive preschool subscription service. It's taking everything that we've learned from Mother Goose Club and everything that we've learned from the Caterpillar and combined a lot of aspects of a lot of what we created into one app and expanded it significantly.
Is this public?
Is this public? Give it a
So what if someone just tweeted?
Oh, it's fine. Fine, we're not worried. Actually, it's actually available for pre-sale and on the App Store at the moment anyway. So
All right.
it's no secret.
So this could be a little news for the journalists and their.
Yeah.
Actually, it is news because it's a big correction for the.
It's been about a year and a half in the making, and most of the team on it. I won't bore you with all the details, but we focus very heavily on reading, on counting, and on early literacy skills and early numeracy skills. We have a book library in there. There's books added on a monthly basis, and some are learn to read, and some are read to learn. And it's we were only developing 3 products this year. And we've gone from, I think we probably developed maybe 10 in 2017, but it's just 3 this year. And they're all subscription based. So for us, we have to focus as a company on fewer titles with higher potential. We can't survive in that kind of like peak at launch and then long tails. We found that no matter what we added, we could never get the tail to raise to the level that met the investment which we've made. It's been quite difficult for us to do that. So everything that we do as a company has to have a recurring revenue model. We have to be able to generate customer lifetime value, not just app sales. So it's effectively the company's moving from product to service, and that's been really hard. It's been really hard to work with a team that have been used to building and launching beautiful things once and then hoping that they do very well, to developing that mindset when you launch, it's day one. It's not the end. You have to continue to iterate that product. We're still working with our catalog. So we have, as I said, more than 120 apps out there. We are working to optimize those in terms of new ways to cross-sell them, new ways to promote them. One of the other things we've started to do quite heavily this year is invest in local market partnerships for marketing of applications. It didn't take me long to realize that I was not going to be able to manage, or our BD team were not going to be able to manage the Southeast Asian market effectively. So we're working with I would call them a co-distributor in that market to help improve our app's performance there. And other markets that you can do this in are the Latin American markets, and the China market is absolutely necessary for various regulatory reasons, and the India market too. So that's how we're focusing ourselves for 2018. Now, I wanted to close out with just some kind of general industry thoughts. Warren's recent article on the plague, I call it the zombification of the app publisher industry, because if you get the plague, you die. If you if you're zombified, you just kind of roam the place until somebody, what do? They gotta put a knife in your brain, something like that. And it's a real problem. We have seen attrition in this industry. We'd all thought that we would see consolidation and we would see some exits and some large companies get developed that weren't age of learning. We all wanted to see this industry grow, but it's not really consolidated. We've seen heavy attrition, and we have a lot of zombie apps, which are basically unsupported apps that were launched. They've been great apps at the time, didn't do well, and whoever created them has kind of gone back to their day jobs, and they're sitting on the App Store. So I call it the zombification of the app industry, but it is a wake-up call. I mean, just companies just won't exist to create this wonderful content in the future. If you are looking, like these are kind of short to medium term things, if you are struggling and you have a portfolio and you are supporting Google Play as well as iOS, you have a tremendous opportunity in high growth markets to appoint distribution partners, to work with third-party app stores, to work with embed channels such as groups like Fingerprint in the US, but there's literally hundreds of channels to distribute Android content on, and you'll find that revenue stream could actually rival your App Store revenue stream quite quickly. So as I said, if you can't address them directly, then partner. Find somebody in a market that can help you do that. And in the Japanese market, we partnered with a group called Smart Education. They helped us bring the Caterpillar to market there. The other thing is in these kind of markets, really focus on function if you want to build a paying audience. Everybody loves the Hungry Caterpillar and the Caterpillar AR and My Very Hungry Caterpillar in China, but they just don't like to pay for it because it doesn't really have a function other than entertainment. And what we really want to do is ensure that you can demonstrate the learning, demonstrate the positive aspects of the app, and if you want a consumer to pay for it. And that's the key in those markets. Some things that I'm worried about is app fatigue, which was the buzzword in early 2017, 2016 actually, and that it's going to give way to subscription fatigue. There's a lot of subscription applications. I think we've gone from 2 years ago, out of the top 20 in the kids category on the App Store, there were 3 subscription applications. Now I think it's 14 out of the top 20 are subscription applications. But there's only so far you can go with that. And there's only so far that a parent will go with it as well. So it's going to get quite competitive to acquire users, and it's also going to get quite competitive to retain users, which is key. And one thing that's a little bit sort of sideways, unrelated to the App Store, but really think about the long term. We've talked a little bit about AR, and I'm sure Emma will be happy to talk more about it to everybody over the next few days. I mean, I believe we're heading to a future where the screen will be obsolete, and you have to gear your business for that. In the same way that the Java games market completely collapsed when Apple launched the iPhone, when we have a device, and there's many of them out there, many of them in development, including these guys, Magic but there's many people developing light field displays, and if you ever have the opportunity to experience one, just take it, and your mind will be blown at the capability of this. This is not HoloLens, this is something fully immersive. And you have to project forward to say, well actually, what are things going to be like in 10 years? Because as this technology evolves, just cast your mind back to 10 years ago, we didn't have the iPad. 8 years ago, the iPad arrived and how transformative that was. These types of displays, at the right size and the right price, will actually transform everything. These projectors will be obsolete, your television will be obsolete. So you have to think on an innovative basis when it comes to AR and, or let's call it mixed reality, as to what the kind of use cases might be in the future. So it's a little bit at odds with the other things that I was saying, but we've had an AR topic on it, and I have 4 minutes left.
Good job. I think it's called light field.
Light field displays.
I have it right here. Did you know? It's if you haven't seen this, it's very high tech. This can it keeps data on iron oxide. And you can actually replay it. It's just fascinating. So, I mean, case in point, 20 years ago,
Yeah.
right? This is changing. Wow. Please give Barry a round of applause.